This upcoming weekend, all of the 36 NASCAR Cup Series teams are heading out to the Talladega Superspeedway to race in a 500-mile race. And what's so big about this weekend at Talladega, it is that it's because it's race number 2 in the round of 12. The first race was at Texas, where we saw William Byron getting the job done there. And we saw drivers of the likes of Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and many others struggle and have bad days. So they're going to have to go to Talladega and do really well, because if they don't, they may have to go to the Roval in a must-win situation, which is something you do not want to do, because the Roval is very chaotic and so is Talladega. So you're going to have to maximize these next 2 weekends if you're wanting to make it into the round of 8, because those drivers I just mentioned have a huge curve ahead of them, and they got to take the step forward. They got to go get the stage points and whatnot this weekend in Talladega. But today I am here to give y'all my full-on predictions on how I believe things are going to play out. And we're also doing a Pick 5 contest as always. So enough said here, on to the intro we go.
I'm Chase Briscoe, driver number 14 Ford Mustang for Stewart Haas Racing, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
I will be completely honest with y'all. This time of year is football season, and NFL is on every single Sunday. So this past weekend, I was flipping through the games and also NASCAR, and through the bits and pieces that I've seen from the NASCAR Cup Series race out at the Texas Motor Speedway. I believe it is fair to say that Texas should lose a playoff date, but not a season date at all. I believe there's a place for them on the schedule as a Texas Motor Speedway, but in the playoffs, it is just not cutting it. You have all these good tracks taking place and hosting a race in the playoffs, and they're doing really well. In Texas, you really can't do much there. It's hard to pass, and if you're going to make a pass, you're going to have to wreck the guy. And I'm not a big fan of that, and they're going to have to do some big things moving forward, because you got to change it, because what you have now is not going to make it long, because the turnout this past weekend sucked. And if you don't have a good turnout, you're ultimately going to lose a date. So we may see them adapt to the Roval, or maybe adapt to Atlanta 2.0. But right now, it's a lot of unknowns. They got to do something about it. But William Byron won, so William Byron is now locked into the round of 8. So we're now heading to Talladega. Talladega has a lot of unknowns. A lot of things can take place. Maybe an upset winner. A lot of big wrecks, obviously. But the driver that I believe is going to take home the checker flag this weekend from the Talladega Superspeedway is going to be the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin in Texas this past weekend was mediocre at best. But what took him out of contention was a pit road incident between him and his teammate Ty Gibbs, where Ty Gibbs was going down the pit road and Denny Hamlin left his box and hit the 54. I believe it's just a racing deal. Stuff like that is going to happen over time. But it just happened to be a playoff driver and his teammates, so they made a big deal about it and blow it way out of proportion. But Denny Hamlin, though, is going to put it behind him and look forward and go win Talladega. Second place is going to be the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, I believe, this past weekend in Texas, he kind of owned up to that mistake, which I don't believe was his mistake. It was just a racing deal. But saying that, though, I believe it's going to light a little fire under Ty Gibbs, and he's going to head to Talladega and want to perform really well, and I believe he will finish in second place. Third place, though, is going to be the 14 car of Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, this past few playoff races, he's been doing really well. Throughout the regular season, he was a struggle. Something just changed all of a sudden for Stewart Haas Racing, and I'm still struggling to figure out what it was exactly, because something big changed. Because now all the cars are more competitive than they were just about a month ago. Something big happened, and I'm kind of optimistic for Briscoe and Parise, and also Josh Berry in 2024. The 10 is a bit unknown right now. Maybe Almirola comes back. Maybe Cole Custer. Maybe Riley Herbst. Maybe a few other drivers in the mix. Maybe Sammy Smith. But time will tell there. But I'm a bit optimistic for next year for Stewart Haas Racing as a whole. Definitely not championship contenders, but they're going to be in line for top 10s every single weekend. All right, fourth place is going to be the 7 car of Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie, these last few weeks, has been getting shown out by his teammate, Ty Dillon, which is kind of shocking and surprising because Ty Dillon has been arguably the worst car on the grid this entire season. So, kind of a shocker there, but Corey LaJoie is going to put it behind him and get a top 5 in Talladega. Fifth place is going to be the 21 car of Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton right now is in an odd situation because months ago it was sounding like he was going to re-sign with the Wood brothers. And as time went on, it's looking less and less likely that it's going to happen. He may be racing for a seat for next year. I don't know. I may be completely wrong. But it seems like that's the case. And he has to go out to Talladega and get a good result. I believe a 5th place finish or a top 5 in general is going to be a good deal for him. So Harrison Burton in 5th place. And at the beginning of the playoffs, I mentioned the dark horses for each playoff race is going to be a playoff driver. But for Talladega, it's going to change. It's going to be throughout the whole field. And my dark horse is going to be the 43 car of Eric Jones. Eric Jones, whenever the NASCAR Cup Series heads out to Talladega, he's always in the mix for the win. And I believe this weekend will not be much of a difference because he's going to be up there in contention. But there you go. Denny Hamlin wins. Ty Gibbs in 2nd place. 3rd place, Chase Briscoe. 4th place, Corey LaJoie. 5th place, Harrison Burton. And my dark horse, Eric Jones. Please, everybody, please like and subscribe and have a great day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.